Hello and welcome to Steve's Vintage Model Builds. Here I am again, back in the saddle as it were. So I mentioned in the previous video, thanks for those who watched, Betty especially, and Aubrey, appreciate your support. And Aubrey's a great guy, very pleasant fellow. He's Australian, yeah, so he's a good guy. We see him on Peter Oxley's channel a lot, which again I will plug. Peter now has memberships on his channel. There'll be a lot of free stuff still, but members will get lots of members will be getting lots of perks and benefits, and subscribing or becoming a member is going to be well worth your while. So take a look at it, and you know, if it suits your fancy, like I said, there's 3 tiers of membership, and I'm a member, and quite a few others have become members as well. So there'll be lots of features, exclusive chats, all sorts of things. So I'd encourage you to stop by Peter's channel. That's Peter Oxley Modeling Lab, or you can just, type in Peter Oxley on YouTube, and he'll come up. Can't miss him. He's a handsome devil. Yeah. So, anyways, at least that's what his wife tells me. Hi, Mrs. O. Okay, so yeah, so today, as I promised, we've got a kit comparison here, and I got this kit. I got the Commando car from Italeri. I think it was last December sometime. It cost me about, I think it was $23, $24, including tax. So fairly reasonable. Comes with one figure. I'll put the review up on an end screen, but I'm not going to go through the whole thing. It's copyright 2011. I'm not sure. I looked and looked. I really couldn't find when this actually was first tooled. I think it was new parts in 2011. They also do an ambulance version, and they also did a D-Day Commando version. So here we are. So I'll just run through it really quickly. So we've got 3 trees here, a little bit of clear plastic. Your one figure, and the Jeep parts, solid plastic. Everything looks really good. No flash, even on like the shovel here and the smaller parts, looking great. So it's a side opening box. I know some people don't like that, but whatever. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I'm not going to tell people what they should like. Okay, and so here we go. This might have been new parts 2014 to make it into the Commando car, but I can't be 100% sure about that. Anybody who has a definitive answer, I'd be happy if you left a comment. And you get a little bit of a write-up here, not much, but you do get technical data on the vehicle. And I'll zoom in here a bit more. That's a bit much. There we go. Okay, so we get our tree map here, and there's also one on the side, which I like because you know what's inside before having to look inside. They also indicate parts not used, which is always good because there's nothing worse than getting to the end of the kit and finding there's extra parts and wondering what the heck you've missed when you really haven't missed anything. So ICM's good about that too. So others aren't. So it's a pretty straightforward build. Basically, it's just like a Willis Jeep frame. So, you know, stuff, it all just goes together like so, blah, 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 blah. And we'll flip her over. Italeri figures, I found they're pretty good. The older Italeri stuff, it's hit and miss. From my experience, there's fewer good kits than there are not good kits, but to each their own. So, anyways, instructions are very clear, and you've got, this is interesting. The shifter is actually attached to the guy's hand, so you don't have to mess around with positioning that properly, which is kind of cool actually, because you know sometimes you put the arm on and you know, and it's not quite right. So that's kind of a cool idea. And so yeah, so that's it. It's pretty simple. I don't know how many parts in total here. It looks to be about 88. Yeah, 88 including the figure. And yeah, he's just a driver. Plenty of figures, plenty of extra figures lying around this place. So if I wanted to add them, that would be great. So yeah, about $23, $24 Canadian last year. Price may have gone up since then. I got it from Amazon. Geez, the price of kits is going through the roof, I tell you. I don't know whether it's the cost of plastic or tariffs or what, but anyway. So this one, as I mentioned in my previous video, I got this from my local hobby shop, NRC Hobbies. Hey, Matt. Now, a bit of a funny story there. Excuse me, I'm enjoying a beverage. It's Friday night. Yeah, a bit of a funny story there, Matt. I don't know, I guess he's probably in his 50s. And he's a big RC guy. That's the bulk of his business. That's where the big money is these days. And he's a big dirt biker too. So actually, I'll put up an end screen. He has a channel, and you would not believe what these guys tackle. I mean, the video I'll put up on the end screen is when they went up one of our local mountains here on Vancouver Island. And they just punish themselves. It's brutal. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, dirt bikes or motocross or whatever you call it, his channel is worth checking out. So, but it was funny because when I went to pick up the kit, it was 16 something plus tax. So there's about $5 difference between these two kits, $5-6. This one being a little cheaper, but you get two figures instead of one. So yeah, but I mean, you know, something like this, if you're coming in 25, even, you know, towards $30 Canadian, which I guess would be probably about, I don't know, 18 pounds British, pound sterling, something like that. It's about $1.80 something Canadian dollar to pound sterling. Although our dollar has strengthened with the price of oil and gas, and I'm certainly enjoying the benefits of that with my Canadian oil and gas investments. Excuse me. I expect it'll be a good quarter or even a half for some extra special dividends, which is always nice. And our price here was, for a few days, it was $1.85 a liter. Carney cut one of his oppressive taxes, which brought it down somewhat, but now of course things are up in the air again over there. And today It's about 204 per liter Canadian. So we had a significant jump over the. It was actually literally overnight. So I know because uh, from our from the front of our house, if I walk down the lane, I can see the gas station and I can see the price they posted. So but for I don't want to get too political about it, but for a country like Canada with such a wealth of oil and gas, natural resources, uh, it's really a disgrace that our gas isn't cheaper, and it's mostly taxes. So, as other places in the world that are run as incompetently as this place. So, okay, but I'm not going to say anything more about that. The only other thing I'm going to say is thoughts and prayers to all the service members over there, working hard to keep us safe and to rid the world uh, of this evil regime. So yeah, God bless you. Okay, and so here we've got this one. This is from 1974. Was the new tool, and it's really a classic, of course. And I think it was based on. Let's see if I can get it here. Where is it? There we go. I think it's more or less based on this tooling, which is a wonderful, beautiful, fabulous little kit. Um, you know, if you're gonna go at one for the first time, I would highly recommend this one, and I have. So you get one figure with it. It goes together beautifully. It's not too complicated, and as you can see here, it builds up real nice and paints up real nice. A lot of dust here. I got to do the dusting, and you get engine detail too. So that was pretty cool. I had a lot of fun with this build, and but yeah, I think this was probably the prototype. But obviously, they've added some different parts and so forth. But that's essentially what it is. And nice figure too. Uh, I'm pretty happy with him. I think I did a pretty good job. Yeah. There you go. Not a great job with uh, the flesh tones. They're difficult for everybody. But anyways, I've digressed. So yeah, getting back to it, and Matt, I came to pick up the kit. Matt had to order it; he didn't have it in stock. Um, and when he handed it over, he looked at it and he was like, "Well, was this some kind of funky idea they had? A bunch of whatevers?" And I'm like, "You never heard of the Special Air Service?" And he's like, "Well, no. Well, I've heard of them, but." And I said, "Oh man, these guys were they were the original badasses, man. I tell you, it's quite a story. A lot of British folks fellas and people would know the story of how the SAS was formed, and it was not necessarily a dirty dozen, but it was a bunch of miscreants and uh, brilliant people, but didn't quite fit in with the normal military kind of uh, what do you call it, discipline and so forth of the British Army at the time. But it was recognized that they were that there was a use for them, and they were very effective in North Africa. Not so much at first, but once they got their legs going and started to figure things out, they had great success. Um, they had one. There was one raid that was very successful, and they drove miles and miles and miles through the desert and raided a German air base, and they shot up and blew up a bunch of planes, and they ran out of plastic explosives to attach to the to attach to the planes to destroy them. And so when one of them jumped up on a plane, he got into the cockpit and he literally ripped out the entire control panel. He ripped out the control panel. He ripped out the wiring. The guy was a beast. And yeah, so they were certainly a colorful group, as one might say. But yeah, they were bad. They were tough as nails, and as the SAS still is today. A lot of things going on in Britain with the military, especially the Navy, and some unfortunate news about senior SAS people leaving the service for fear that they'll be prosecuted for the activities that they've been so ordered to perform, as we saw in Australia. Again, I'm not going to touch too far into, you're not going to dip my feet too far into the politics of things, but it's very unfortunate. It's a venerable service, and of course, one of their most famous exploits was saving the hostages from the Iranian embassy when it was taken over by terrorists. I think it was the Iranian embassy. But anyways, yeah. And their motto, who dares wins. Short and simple, yeah. So there you go. And these fellas were very daring. And so let's take a look and see what we get here. Nice box art. It's not signed. It looks like just to be a picture of a drawing. And then on the other side here, we've got various other. I've got this kit, the 88 millimeter, and I don't have the 135 Kettenkrad. I got the 148 and the 172, but not the 135 Kettenkrad. So, anyways, this kit was produced in the Philippines and has a copyright on the box of 1974. Seems to be a bit more to this kit. We get the tech tips. And Tamiya has produced instructions in both Japanese and English. They have a huge write-up here in English. And these were either equipped with Browning machine guns or twin Vickers K guns. And I think they started out with Brownings, but then when they started decommissioning the Vickers from the Air and Navy, the RAF and Royal Navy, I guess Fleet Air Arm is what it was called back then. They shifted them over to here. So I'll just read a little bit at the beginning here. But if you're not aware, if you don't know much about the SAS, then I'd encourage you to go look it up. And this is nicely written as well. It was the night of 26 July 1942. The runway was brightly lighted by the moon. The German field airport in City Ennick was in activity as usual. The moon disappeared behind the clouds. The light of a bomber which was just going to land there searched for the runway. The night wore on silently as if it had not been wartime. It was quite unbelievable that the German base, located far away from the front, was on the brink of a serious disaster. There was no feeling of unrest. Raising a dry dust, the wheels of the bomber touched the ground when heavy machine guns suddenly produced deafening noises and car engines started roaring. The runway was blown by a black violent gust and thrown into disorder, obviously smoke bomb. The SAS, under the command of David Sterling, started a surprise attack. They had come here from beyond the Sea of Desert, tens of miles away. City Enik was one of the most important airfields for Rommel. And so, anyways, they were very innovative, and obviously didn't care at all about their comfort. But that details a little bit of that famous raid that I mentioned. And so here we go. Again, our favorite Hotchkiss fasteners that we all love. And again, we have 3 sprue trees. Excuse me. And we've got the 2 figures. Very nice detail. Here, socks, gloves. A separate, looks like maybe a 30 cal Bren gun, machine pistol, carbine rifle, and I've got nicely detailed tarps or camouflage, whatever. These are bent this way intentionally, and gives you an idea of the thought behind that Tamiya puts behind all their things. You can see here nice detail on the satchels and so forth. And you know, we've got details of the cartridges within the magazine, spare ammo boxes, lots of extra doodads, sidearms. Looks like bayonets here, maybe. So yeah, very nice. There's a tiny bit of flash just around the edges, but for a 1974 molding, it's looking great. And then we move to the actual construction of the actual Jeep. Nothing too complex here. And we've got contour here, contour on the floorboards. There's a bit of blemish here. I don't know whether you'd really even call it a sink mark. But I mean, you know, that's going to be painted over easily. And again, the wheels are hard plastic, but they're in 3 pieces. And then here we have all the different accessories, gas cans. Here's the twin machine guns, etc., etc., etc. So all very nice. Goes together perfectly in a nice package here. You know, and I've mentioned this before about the staples. And I actually looked into it, and sent an inquiry through and was both pleased and surprised to get a response from Tamiya, which basically said that the stapling machines that they're using were pretty ancient, but still very serviceable. And it really just came down to cost of getting the heat wrap whatever sealing, or even the resealable adhesive, and in Japan, power is at a great premium, especially these days. But basically, doing the heat sealing would be not only the cost of the retooling to do that, but also the power to run the machines. And so they just made the conscious decision, it works, and it's a lot easier to import millions of staples, or Hotchkiss fasteners as they call them, and keep using the same equipment that they've always used. So there you go. So another great thing about Tamiya is, while they do a lot of cutting edge stuff, they also stick to tradition when it makes sense. So hey, what the heck. Nobu's doing a great job, by the way. Okay, now again, they always read before assembly, and they give you a list of parts here, all the little extra doodads, light equipment items, heavy equipment items. So you know exactly what everything is. Like they say, twin Vickers machine guns, a single Vickers machine gun, as I showed, the Bren, the Thompson. Well, I guess that was a Thompson, but it had the banana cartridge, not the cylinder magazine. Camouflage nets, blankets, and tents. Yeah, and they have nice photographs of the completed models. Yeah, I'm not crazy about the way they've done these guys. Can you see that? They kind of look like claymation characters, something out of Gumby and Pokey or whatever. But and obviously it's an old photograph. So, but the weathering that they've done here is just great. This is another thing that Tamiya is great at. They show you an actual picture of the chassis while you're right beside the chassis assembly. So you can see from here not only how it goes together, but how it's supposed to look when it's done. And adds a real sense, a sense of realism to the kit. And to me, is great about this, with the stuff in the what do you call it, margin or gloss, I guess. And so then we've got the sub-assembly for the wheels here and how they all go together. Then the body. And as always, you just go step by step through. Again, it's not a complicated kit. $16 plus 12% tax, whatever. Not going to complain one little bit about that. And the amazing thing is that I'm sure Tamiya still makes money on it. So there you go. Can you tell I'm a big Tamiya fan? Not exclusive, you know. I go with other manufacturers as well. But you know, to my mind, Tamiya really can't be beat for reliability, ease of assembly, fit, quality plastic, everything, the whole 9 yards, as they used to say. And then they've got the construction of the Browning gun. They give you all the different sub-assemblies. And then you've got the painting guide here. I don't know why they have this guy standing up while when both figures are sitting down, but it may just be easier to go top to bottom like this rather than messing around with all of this. And then so we've got adding the seats, and you'll see here everything was stripped down on these things to save fuel. And you can see they've got tons of extra fuel. They stored fuel everywhere. They actually invented this this condenser here, so that the evaporate from the water cooled engine was passed back through the condenser and then back into the radiator, so they weren't having to constantly add water, which is very heavy. And so yeah, they were made light, and that's also the reason why you see here, see how the bars are taken out from the from the radiator cover, and that was, you know, every little ounce of weight they took out of them. And also for speed too. I mean, you know, these kind of Jeeps, I can't remember, but they weren't very high in horsepower, but they had great traction. And but in any case, I think anything over about 60, 70 kilometers an hour, you would have been taking your life in your hands unless you were just ripping down straight across the desert. Even then, it would have been kind of a rough ride. And so they provided nice detail here on assembling the guns. And then we've got the all the various different doodads, extra bits and pieces. As you can see here, they loaded everything as much as they could on and hung it wherever they could. And you know, they give us the paint scheme here. And then here they give you, you know, once you're done, every single little piece, what it is, so you know. And you know, you can see here there's not much drinking water, but yeah, these were tough guys. And then here we finish off with an actual photo. Courtesy of the Military War Museum, Colonel John Stubbs. And yeah, yeah, tough guys. The kind of guys we need today. Tough and serious. With this attitude, we can do it. Roll up your sleeves, get the job done, even if it's a dirty job. Okay, so I rated the Italeri kit previously. I can't remember exactly what the rating was. You can watch the video to find out. And for this one, where'd my sheet go? So I use a 12-point scale. It's 10 standard points, up to 2 points for the packaging, up to 2 points for the sprue trees, up to 3 points for the parts, and up to 3 points for the instructions. Each of those 4 categories can get a quarter-point bonus for what I call the wow factor. Anything that's really makes it stand out or goes the extra mile. So packaging. Obviously no shipping problems. Came to the hobby shop pristine, everything perfect. No squishes, no scrunches, no nothing. I can't remember if I mentioned this kit as well was produced in the Philippines. As I've said before, they've got a big factory in Cebu, Philippines, and I guess they started moving some production there in the 90s, and it's been very successful. And the stuff that comes out of the Philippines is exactly the same quality as the stuff that comes out of Japan. It was about 50-50, but I think now it's probably about up to 60-40 stuff made in the Philippines. And the 40% that's in Japan is going to be like their higher end kits, as well as the radio controlled cars and other things like that. So yeah. Okay, so packaging is pretty basic. I mean, it's just nothing fancy. There's no background. So 2 points. Nothing to criticize there. The sprues, yeah, I'm gonna have to knock off a quarter point because there was some flash. We're spoiled, but there was a little bit of flash, very easily trimmed, but the fact is it was there. The parts themselves, the quality of plastic is excellent, the detail is excellent. No warped or broken parts, nothing detached from the sprue tree. No decals. There were no decals to. They went without any kind of markings. So that's historically accurate. I'm not going to ding them on that. And as far as the instructions go, I give that a full 3 points and a quarter point bonus for the photographs and blow-ups in the margins and so on and so forth. So that brings us to 3. 1 moment, please. Okay, so we got 2 points for the packaging, 1.75 for the sprues, 3 points for the parts, 3.25 for the instructions, and I'm going to give it 1.5 bonus points for value. There's tons of stuff in here that you could just go to town on for days at a time, and so many opportunities to, even though it's a very basic paint camouflage scheme, there's so many opportunities here for detailing. Excuse me. So that brings us to 11.5 on the scale of 12. Great little kid. Um, I'm not sad to have two of them. Well, I mean, I made a conscious decision to have two of them, and I'll be able to pair them up. That's my intention, to do them both up in the Desert North Africa scheme. So yeah, nothing to complain about here. And I mean, coming in at under $20 Canadian, that's I don't know how you could beat it, really, to be honest. But like I said, they must still be making money off them, even if it's only a couple dollars a kit or a few hundred yen a kit. As far as comparing the two, got to go with the Tamiya. Um, this had nice accessories and so on and so forth. But I mean, this is just goes over the top. You get the extra figure. It's $5-6 cheaper, and so I mean, if you look up figures, if you go for you get a set of 5 for $30, for heaven's sake. So and sometimes the figures are ridiculously expensive. $10, $12 per figure. It works out to be, which I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're a figure person and you really like that, that's fine. But this is something to me has been brilliant with for so many years, and you couldn't really see it on even when I zoomed right in, but their beards and everything, all those details are there, and so the only thing I kind of question is they don't their faces look a bit weathered, but you'd think wearing those shorts they'd have a bit more tan on the legs. But I guess maybe that's just my California days coming back to haunt me. But anyways, not that I'm not interested in men's legs. I'm not interested in men's legs at all, really. Um, so, but yeah, the only other thing I can think is that they did most of their operations at night and traveled mostly by night. So they weren't likely to get sunburned or tanned by moving mostly at night. But even you think about um, what these guys must have gone through. I mean, you're out in the desert. The only water you got is to drink, and if you were lucky, you might come across an oasis. But most of them would be, guarded by the Germans or whatever. You wouldn't have much chance to wash. Um, so yeah, I mean, just even on that practical level, it's you got to be tough as nails to put up with that kind of stuff. But for 2 generations now, all we've had is whiners for the most part. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, so yeah, both are fine kits. No question, no question at all. And it would just come down to preference. But if you know, I would say if you're looking to get something like this, get this one. If you want something more European focused, then this would be it too. But really, it just comes down to, you know, the accessories you've got, and this one doesn't have the condenser and the radiator bars cut out, and all the other stuff that was done to lighten it up. You know, to each their own. But I think, you know, in terms of just straight value um, and buildability and so forth, this would be my pick. And I've got nothing against Italeri either. I mean, they do produce some really good kits, especially their newer stuff is excellent. And I've never really had any reason to complain about their figures either. They're fine. Um, I have one one Italeri kit I picked up in the bargain bin at the hobby shop. I think I literally paid $5 for it, and it was a Focke Wolf 190, 172 scale, and um, sorry, lost my train of thought there. 172 scale. Oh yeah, it was actually the name on the box was the old Italeri spelling, which was Italeri, I believe. Italieri was, but for whatever reason, they dumped the first I, and so now it's Italeri. But that's how old it was, and it was not a good kit. It ended up being a paint mule, and I ended up doing it as a little crash diorama before I just tossed it out because it was taking up too much space. So that's where we're at with this, and so I hope everybody's enjoyed it. And it's always nice to compare different kits that are almost exactly the same. Um, the only difference here is, you know, pretty much some of the accessories. Um, Now, this didn't have clear parts, so it's interesting to see here. I'm just going to open it up again and see what the deal was with the headlamps. Just because I'm curious. A4. Yeah. Yeah. See here? These are just, these are the headlamps. And they didn't even bother to put in, they didn't even bother to put in clear parts. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, just a little bit of silver or whatever kind of color you want to use. They probably would have had these mostly taped off anyways, just to slits. So, but yeah, it's easy enough to use some silver paint, and bit of clear on top if you want to do that. Okay, so yeah, so that's it. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Coming up will be a rather big show on the Tamiya 1350 I-400 submarine, which has some interesting stories attached to it, and is something many folks may not have seen. As I said in the previous video, almost all of the we'll zoom up here. There. Almost all of the reviews and builds I've seen were from Japanese creators. One or two from others. But like I said, it's a very interesting subject with some very interesting stories behind it. And but we'll get all into that next time, sometime later this weekend. So looks like it's going to be a fun kit. And I know I've been saying this for months, but I am determined. Once things get back to normal, whatever that is, in the hobby room here, I've got quite a few projects on the go, as always. But I'm determined to finish the Akaji, Japanese aircraft carrier. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm so hesitant to get back at it, but it really is just ready to go over the finish line. I've even painted up the aircraft and stuff. So yeah. So that's it for today. And thanks again to everybody here. I'll let you see my face for all my fans. Appreciate everybody who stops by, subscribers, returnees, first timers. Please feel free to leave comments. They don't necessarily have to be complimentary, but please don't make them abusive or rude, which is kind of the same thing. But anyways, we're all here to have fun, and if you want to be that way, go into politics. Our hobby is supposed to be relaxing, with lots of camaraderie, lots of information sharing, and so on and so forth. So let's do our best to keep that up, because it's a wonderful hobby, and it's a shame when it gets spoiled by overly opinionated opinions and inflexible attitudes. So nobody's perfect, nothing's perfect, and to criticize just for the sake of criticizing is never very good. If constructive criticism is good, but you need to have an open mind to accept constructive criticism. And sometimes you just have to say, yeah, I was wrong about that. And sometimes it's more like, gee, thanks for letting me know about that. I didn't know that before. But you don't have to come in and pound somebody with a hammer over whatever it is. So anyways, keep a smile on your face. Let's be happy. It's the weekend here. The weather's beautiful. And life's pretty good. At this point, anyways. Thanks for stopping by. Always appreciate it. And hope you all keep well. And we'll look forward to the next one. Bye now.